Hi, I'm Paul Salmon. I'm a spiritualist medium. My guest today is Nicola Clark. And Nicola is an animal communicator, spiritual artist and Reiki master. Hi Nicola.
Hello.
Lovely to see you.
Hi, lovely to be here. Thank you.
You've got so much to talk about. But I would like to talk about your spiritual art.
Yes, yeah.
Do you call it spiritual art or?
Well, my background is I went to Norwich School of Art, and when I graduated it didn't feel right at the time to go on to create further work, and I went into care work and sort of supported housing and working with mental health. So I had that nurturing side already. But I realised looking back now that the work I was doing, the paintings I was doing in Norwich School of Art were, I did one particular one 7 foot by 7 with a horse walking down to water. And it's kind of very, very mystical and sort of, and it was literally from a dream I had. So I basically channeled the painting came out of a dream I had. I was just walking beside this white horse, and I could feel everything. I could smell the horse. I could feel it brushing up against me, and I could feel the sand we were walking on. And then we just walked down to the sea, and basically the dream was about fear. So and my sort of fear had evaporated with the horse, this beautiful white horse. And in actual fact, it's really weird because my self-healings that I've been posting on my private Facebook page, that the horse has appeared again. There's a white horse that's appeared, and so I look back and I believe that I was quite spiritually connected even then, and I was sort of doing work.
Prior to that, at Norwich, did you have any other artwork where you thought, oh, something's happening, something's changing, or was it just literally with the white horse?
Before I got into Norwich School of Art, I was living in Cambridge, and I was living near 2 horses, and I went to see them every day. And there definitely was a sort of an unspoken communication going on. I built up a sort of relationship with them, and I was drawing them and sketching them every day. But somehow they sort of gave me a groundedness and a sort of a focus, which I then went on to understand through. There was a horse course I wanted to do where they use the horse to help with post-traumatic stress, and it helps. Apparently, horses have a limbic system, or their area around their hearts is huge. And they are actually very grounding animals to be around. So I think what they were actually doing for me was helping me ground myself and refocus. And the art sort of came through that. I was sketching and drawing them, but even then, I think I was doing stuff that I was doing pieces that I was guided to do. And my writing took off as well. My dissertation basically was entitled Conversations with the Horse, so I was already having this sort of inner dialogue, and I think that inner dialogue went on to be with spirit. So
after college or a while you went off into doing care work?
Yes.
But you came back into the art?
I came back, to cut a long story short, from the care work I read an article about equine therapy, and I was all set, and I mean all set to do that. I was, and the Reiki was, it reminds me of the saying of John Lennon, well, life is something that happens to you while you're busy making other plans, because to be honest with you, the Reiki was, oh, I'll get that, and then I'll get onto this course, and that's what it felt like. But then because I did a couple of workshops for the equine therapy, and everybody had Reiki, and we were doing a massage exercise, and I was with a friend, and she said, oh my God, your energy is amazing. She said, you ought to do something with it. And I spoke to a few people, and they said they had Reiki at the time. This is about 3 or 4 years ago. I didn't even know what it was. I then came back to Felixstowe, got attuned with a beautiful girl, Claire Misson, local girl here.
I know Claire Misson.
Yeah, lady. She's quite young, and she's a lovely girl. And she, I was very lucky because I think Spirit sent me to her, because she attunes people for both animal and human Reiki. So I did the 2. And very powerful lady. And when I got attuned with my Reiki too, all sorts of things started to happen. And then at the same time as that, I was communicating with a lady in Australia who was a medium, who I'd actually got in contact with to try and sort of communicate with my mum. And she actually told me over the phone that she said, you are very clairvoyant and Spirit's giving me, this is only going to get stronger and for you not to worry. But back then I was, because I didn't have that many people to talk to. I hadn't come to Felixstowe and known all these beautiful people in Circle or all these lovely people around, and I was quite isolated on my own, and I'd sort of come through a different route, and so I was dealing with all of this on my own. So I spent a lot of time emailing Liz and sort of explaining, and then of course with Liz I did my psychic lessons over Skype, and she gave me 2 psychometry pieces to read, and she said, oh my God, she said, I've been doing this for 25 years and you're spot on. And so it all culminated with the Reiki and the communication with Liz, and then to cut a long story short, it was after lots of tears I realised I wasn't going to be able to do the horse course. At one point I had horses, then I had the money, and then I didn't have the money, then I had horses. So it was all kind of, I think Spirit wanted, and a friend of mine said, I think Spirit wants you to stay with Reiki. And the Reiki just kind of took off, and it became part of me.
But do people, how does your spiritual art work? Do you sit with people doing clairvoyant, like normal readings?
Yeah.
And animals come through, or do people come through? But then I read you do spirit guide work, so do you draw people's spirit guides?
I do. It's at the moment I had a short I had a spirit guide art day, and I was very connected to one particular person there, and I had 3 pieces which were all connected to this one particular person, and what came out was short messages as well. And looking back, I mean, you can always say, looking back, I could have organised it, or I should have organised it better, but I had about 4 or 5 people there, and so I was taking the group, but I was also doing a sort of a 5 minutes quick sketch and getting information through. So the pieces that you'll see are literally like 5 or 10 minutes, and then short messages come through. One particular one was it turned into it was a beautiful face, but very sorrowful and sort of perfectly beautiful but frozen, and then you've got this cherry tree in the middle, and then ice, and then like a phoenix rising, but it's only about that size. But the messages I got were quite profound for that. It was all about the inner child, and something being perfect. Everything that's perfect is frozen, and then you'll sort of rise like a phoenix. So these messages came through, and then there was another guide. She was called Celestine, and she was 18 years old, and she had a beautiful green turban on, and she'd been walking through the arid desert. And the message for the same person was that every time you walk with her, you'll set down your burdens, and you'll feel much more invigorated, and for each step.
And this is why you're drawing? Yeah,
this was the message with this one. She was called Celestine. So the message for the cherry tree and the inner child was a separate message, and this one was, but these were only 5 or 10 minutes, so it would be lovely to have that opportunity to have someone for an hour's sit, and to really, see where that takes us. And
when you're there drawing, do you see the person in your mind's eye and copy it, or do you get? Is it a bit like trance and you're guided?
I do. I go into sort of a trance, and even when I was at Norwich School of Art, I'm sort of laughing because I'm thinking back to. I used to get what I call lost in the work. You can get completely into that place where it's sort of like a positive dissociation, where you're just
you're focused.
Yeah, focused, and you're taken in, and I'd say that you just get that beautiful feeling where you step back and you think, oh my God, and you're really in the flow of something. And I think what I was in the flow of being connected to Spirit, and I was channeling it through, because when I was actually up at Ifield, the horse place, I sat next to a gentleman who apparently I've been told I had 3 past lives with. We did connect very strongly on the course, and I look back, and I you'll see the image, but I look back, and we did mandalas at the beginning and the end of each session. And the mandala I drew was of these wild horses running across the plains, and sort of like Native American Indian symbols at the bottom. And that was that was apparently, according to the lady in Australia, that was one of our first past lives.
Oh, right,
we were
okay.
both sort of shamanic type, the Native American sort of healers together. So so that was.
So do you work in colour, or
I work in anything.
Do you?
I've worked in oils. I've worked in the ones I did for Spirit Guide Art Day, because it was so short. I did it in pastel and crayon and pencil, but they were, they're very effective. But yes, I work in any.
I'm just wondering, because having an artist background myself, it's just how I think.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're meaningful, and some of them might be sketches like, but do you later on think that could be a better painting? But if you did, would you lose?
It's
the
funny.
meaning?
Yes, you're exactly. I've had this discussion. I admired an artist called Peter Doig when I was at college, and I actually got the chance to interview him. I was really, really nervous, but he was so down to earth. He was so lovely. He's quite famous. Chris Safili, his friend, was, I think, who won the Turner Prize at one time.
Oh, yeah.
And then they both live in the Caribbean now. But I went up to interview him at Clerkenwell, and we were talking about the uncanny, and sort of his work is he has this lovely sense of eerie sort of quality, and it's quite transient, because I think he was always on the move as a child. And I love that sort of sense about that in my own work, and I was looking for that feeling. And we actually did, at the end of the interview, he said, will you come and help me choose a piece for my catalogue? Which I was like, oh my God, me. And I chose an oil sketch about that big, because I just, like we're just saying, it had so much vivacity and instant sort of sense of, there was something in it that kind of got lost in the bigger pieces.
I thought it might.
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. As of yet, I haven't done that bigger piece yet. So, but I'm at the moment, I quite love these sort of 5 to 10 minute sketches. But it would be lovely to have the chance to see where a bigger piece
Could
might go and the
exactly.
energy of that. Yeah, and also what might come out. Around the person's aura, or what I would see, but that would be really exciting.
Tell me about this Bonnie. Is that Dartmoor pony?
Bonnie, oh yes,
I forget if you drew that.
Gorgeous.
Was that
that was one of my first experiences of animal communication. My friend in Plymouth, she, unbeknown to me, she'd rescued a Dartmoor pony before, but she had this one that she rescued, because I didn't realise this, but up in Dartmoor, it's quite, it's quite a cut and dry business, that if they're injured or if something happens, they probably will be put down. So she went to rescue this one, absolutely beautiful young horse, and but she already had a herd of horses, and it was difficult to integrate them. So she said, well, can you come down? And I said, yeah, of course. So, but what I did at first is I did a distance healing, and from the distance healing I picked up straight away, I could see it as clear as day, that this little one had been bundled in to an enclosed space and bundled in through the gate. And I thought, well, that doesn't make any sense, because I thought they were wild. And when I relayed the message to my friend, she said, that makes perfect sense, because even though they're wild, they have to be microchipped. So they're all herded in, and obviously probably not very sympathetically, because obviously they have to do them all, they have to do them all and keep going. So I said, the spirit was just giving me to lead the other horses in to lead her in first, and so there's horses there, so she's not the one that has sort of the gate closed on her. And there was other things that came through. There was messages for certain sort of oils to work with, and certain sort of exercises to do with her. And after I think about a few weeks, she said, oh my God, she said, you've got to come down, because she's actually responding really well. And then she said to me, she says, I told her that you're coming down, and she got really excited. So, and it was quite on my actual page there is video clips of me meeting her. So yeah, it was quite powerful when I actually met her, because she's very beautiful. But apparently now she's totally integrated and part of the herd. So it's, you know, it's kind of.
Do you know, there's a lot more we could talk about, but we're coming to an end already.
Yeah.
But we just scratched the surface.
Yes. Yeah.
But Nicola, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
It's been wonderful to meet you as well.
Yeah.
And come back in sometime. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you.